just plugging in things. Say something more of Squarespace, you're looking at, it's very much akin to building a car.
Okay.
You're going to want to make sure that each and every single component's in place. You're getting into very much advanced workings of HTML and CSS to make sure, say, the spacing from the edges looks all right, or the spacing between your words looks right. And coding is required for a lot of things on special websites to work. So, say if you want to do plugins like charts, or you want to embed a playlist, or if you just want to make certain things on the page pop out, that's where coding would come in. Squarespace and Wix very much takes a lot of the coding out of the equation, but it wouldn't hurt to have albeit amateur to basic knowledge of coding going in so you can customize it to your taste. Because there's only so much that you can put into Squarespace and Wix that will, same as the drag and drop, plug and play of Adobe Stock, but you're gonna want to make it look like your own. You're gonna want to make it stick out compared to the templates that, frankly, a lot of people are still running with, and I wouldn't disregard that. I wouldn't disregard the templates at all. They're fantastic. They'll help you get your website up and running fairly quickly, but going deep into personalizing it will rely on that knowledge.
Okay.
I'm going to get back to the Adobe Spark page here. So we have our glide show here. This is our first photo, and very much the human eye will gravitate towards the most interesting thing on the page. And usually from studies, we like to drift our view off to the right side of the page. I didn't do that here. I did a center, right, left. But the way you want to lay out your text box, your description box, will be completely up to you. So you can just start out with a plain old text button. Get yourself a nice header, say header 2, header 1, header 2, the beginning. Now the text box, you're going to insert your text here. Normally, it very much defaults to 12 font paragraph format, so you can just make sure you don't go back into the headline there, description, and then your button, which would be linked to a published work, or say if you had something hosted on your own end with a URL, you can just say published work here, blah, 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 save, button there. Which leads me into another point of contention. Say you're going to be using this portfolio years from now. So after this project's done and over with, you're going to want to say, go back to it to refer to a future employer. I'm going to emphasize on this greatly. I do this myself. I keep copies on my cloud and my hard drives, but you're going to want to screenshot your work. You're going to want to keep the videos, keep the photos, and screenshot your work so that in case, websites don't hold up and keep a copy of your work in the history, you'll have it referenced personally from files that you have owned. So just a quick note. And basically you can apply the same concept throughout the click and scroll adventure. You can say this one's in the middle, this will be on the left. Another text, headline 1, test. Obviously it's going to be a lot more creative than what I have up here. Description, and then link to work. Or more text if you choose to describe it a bit more. That, of course, is entirely left up to you. Now, if you want to do videos, you have the option of embedding from YouTube, Vimeo, or Spark. You just have to add the link there, and it will show there. So let's just pull up a quick video. Why not? Hello. This is what the videos would look like if you were to click on them. They would open their own in-house player. You're going to go to share, And when it says here to doing an embedded video, you can easily just copy the share link and put it there. And it should embed the video right in the text box. Rinse and repeat for each one. I highly recommend diversifying and making sure you plan out ahead. You're going to notice that you have different spaces to work with if you change the box from center to left or right. And you're going to want to make sure your background photos work out as well. You're going to want to make sure that they correspond to what you're describing. Rinse and repeat for every single part of the glide show, as many as you wish to put in there. And the same concept as you're going to work with the boxes in the glide show. You can add standalone buttons, videos. The photo grid is the gallery I had at the bottom of my last example. So I'm just going to put in a bunch of images that are relevant to your work. That's the most important thing with galleries. You're going to want to make them as pertinent or as relevant to what you're trying to advertise here. Random selection of cars, and there you go. Now I'm going to move to wrap up this Adobe Spark page with another split layout. You can choose to do a photo, you can choose to do some text, but I find if you want to commit to visuals and wrap up, you're going to want to add say a closing picture of yourself with a short description of what the portfolio comprises, what you're aiming to achieve with it. And once you're done moving to presenting, once you're done with the entire layout of the page, you can move to preview it just to make sure that everything lines up right. You can use this as the time to do your own personal editing. It's like, okay, did I miss anything? Did I run into any typos? Scroll back to the top. You'll see it all scroll down and bring up your content in however way you want to order it out. You can exit out, look at your settings, show header and footer. Nothing you need to worry about. You can choose to present it. So say if you're presenting to, say, the class, it'll very much blow up into a scrolling PowerPoint presentation. And then finally, you have the option to share. You don't have to worry about buying domain names or paying for any hosting fees. You can choose to publish, share link, you can print it out, or you can invite other people to view it. Publish and share link will bring you to this settings page, so you can give yourself a title test template, category, say, other, your name. You have the option to make it public or not. Photo credits, which will, if you're using stock images, it will automatically put in the credits for you if you're using it directly from Spark. But do note that if you're not sourcing directly from Spark, you got to attribute properly. Get noticed. Turn it off if you don't think that if you don't want them to feature it on Adobe Spark's highlights page, and then it will create a link for you to share. And boom, there you go. As long as you have an Adobe account, you can easily come back to this at any time and on and off work on it when you so choose to be. The link is shareable. My project's still up from last year, so it'll presumably be hosted for a while, long enough that you can easily refer back to it if need be. You have the options to sharing it to Facebook, Twitter, Google Classroom, email, or an embed. And I think that concludes my my 20 or so minute presentation on Google Spark.
It's great, though. It's very informative, JL. Thank you so much. And, one question. So you can always update it and it'll never expire, right?
Yeah.
Cool. just to clarify. So I imagine most students will choose this route in regards to putting up a professional portfolio. That makes the most sense to me. So if we were supposed to do Squarespace, do you want to just kind of go through a really quick run through on that?